Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 3 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you question everything. Story 1. I refuse to let a random kid into my apartment building. So today I might have left some kid stranded outside my apartment building, and now I'm wondering if I'm a terrible person. Here's what happened. I'm walking home from work, just minding my own business, when this kid approaches me right outside my building. He looks maybe 13 or 14 years old, and I've never seen him before in my life. He asks me if I live in the building, and I'm immediately suspicious, so I just say maybe. Then he tells me this sob story about how he locked himself out and his mom isn't home, and he's so relieved that I showed up to let him in. Red flags are going off in my head because this feels like a classic con, right? So I tell him flat out, I don't let anybody without keys who I don't recognize into the building. Period. He keeps pushing, asking me why not, and I explain that it's not safe and there's a reason the building stays locked. This kid does not give up. He starts getting more desperate, saying his mom will be mad if she comes home and finds him outside. He's practically begging at this point, but something about the whole situation just feels off to me. Like, if you really lived here, wouldn't you have your own key? Or wouldn't you know at least one neighbor who could vouch for you? Plus, he couldn't tell me which apartment was his when I asked. He just gave me some vague answer about it being on the 3rd floor. I've lived in this building for 2 years and I know most of the families with kids, especially teenagers. I've never seen this kid before, not even once. So I stick to my guns and tell him sorry, but I can't help him. I suggest he call his mom or wait for another resident who might know him. The kid gets frustrated and storms off, muttering something about how unhelpful I am. Now here's where I'm second-guessing myself. What if he was telling the truth? What if this was just some poor kid who genuinely needed help and I turned him away? It's been bugging me all evening. But at the same time, I've heard so many stories about people using kids to gain access to buildings for break-ins or worse. My gut was telling me something wasn't right about this whole interaction. The way he approached me seemed rehearsed, and he had an answer ready for every question I asked. Plus, wouldn't a kid who actually lived there know to wait for their mom or call her instead of asking a complete stranger? I keep going back and forth on this. Part of me feels guilty for potentially leaving a kid in a tough spot, but another part of me thinks I made the right call prioritizing everyone's safety in the building. What would you have done in my situation? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. My stepdad got exactly what he deserved. So remember that stepdad I cut off completely? Well, karma just served him the ultimate reality check, and honestly, I'm here for it. Let me catch you up on this wild update. After my last post where I told you guys about moving out and cutting contact with my stepdad, things have taken some serious turns. First off, I ended up moving back to my home country, which has been absolutely amazing. I'm back with my real dad, my brother, and my extended family, plus I'm in therapy now which has helped me process everything that happened. But here's the kicker, my mom is divorcing my former stepdad. Yeah, you heard that right. Former stepdad. Turns out, after I moved out and went no contact, my mom finally started seeing him for who he really was. Apparently, without me there as his main target, he started directing all that toxic behavior toward her. Funny how that works, right? When the scapegoat leaves, the abuser has to find a new victim. My mom told me that once I was gone, he became increasingly controlling and manipulative with her. All those red flags I'd been pointing out for years. She finally saw them clear as day when she became his primary focus. It's like she needed to experience firsthand what I've been dealing with all along. The divorce is getting messy though. He's trying to fight for half of everything, including the house that my mom owned before they even got married. Classic move from someone who contributed basically nothing to the relationship except drama and negativity. My mom's lawyer says he doesn't have a leg to stand on, especially since they signed a prenup, but he's still trying to make the process as difficult as possible. Meanwhile, I'm thriving in therapy and finally processing all the emotional damage this guy caused. My therapist helped me realize that his behavior toward me was never about anything I did wrong, it was about his own insecurities and need to control people. Having that validation from a professional has been incredibly healing. The best part? My relationship with my mom is slowly getting better. She's apologized for not protecting me sooner and for choosing him over me for so long. It's going to take time to rebuild that trust completely, but at least she's acknowledging her mistakes now. My real dad has been incredible through all of this. He never once said, "I told you so," even though he warned me about this guy from the beginning. Instead, he's just been supportive and welcoming, helping me get back on my feet in my home country. It's amazing what a real parent's love feels like compared to the conditional garbage I dealt with from my stepdad. So yeah, sometimes the trash really does take itself out. Was I right to cut him off completely, or should I have tried harder to make it work? Story 3. My friend lost $100 because I wouldn't help her cheat at poker. So my best friend is mad at me because I cost her $100 in a poker game, but here's the thing, she wanted me to help her cheat, and I just couldn't do it. Let me break this whole mess down for you. A few weeks ago, my best friend and I joined this poker tournament at someone's house. Nothing too serious, just a fun game night with about a dozen people, but there was a $100 prize for whoever won. We both made it to the final four along with these two guys, Mike and Jay. Things get interesting during this one particular round. Mike and I both fold our cards, so it's just my friend and Jay left in the hand. Now here's where it gets complicated. My friend has a pair of fives, and the community cards show 10, 10, and 3. She's got two pair, 5s and 10s, which is actually a pretty decent hand. But Jay is betting aggressively, and my friend starts second-guessing herself. This is where she makes a huge mistake. She turns to me and straight up asks what she should do. Like, out loud, in front of everyone. I'm sitting right next to her, and I can see her cards clear as day, but I can also see Jay's reaction to her question. The guy looks uncomfortable and keeps glancing at me like he's worried I'm going to coach her through the hand. In that moment, I realize my friend is basically asking me to help her cheat. If I tell her what to do based on seeing her cards and reading the table, that's not fair to Jay or anyone else in the game. So I tell her she needs to make her own decision and that I can't help her. She looks at me like I just betrayed her, but I stick to my guns. She ends up folding her hand, convinced that Jay has something better. Plot twist, Jay flips over his cards and he was totally bluffing with basically nothing. My friend would have won that pot easily if she'd called his bet, and she probably would have gone on to win the whole tournament and that $100 prize. After the game, she completely loses it on me. She's saying I screwed her over, that as her best friend I should have had her back, and that it's my fault she lost out on the money. But here's my perspective. Poker is supposed to be an individual game. Getting coaching from someone who can see your cards is literally cheating, even if it's your best friend doing the coaching. Plus, Jay was clearly uncomfortable with her asking me for help, and I didn't want to make the whole game unfair for everyone else. I tried explaining this to her, but she's not hearing it. She keeps saying it was just a casual game between friends and that I was being way too rigid about the rules. Maybe she has a point about it being casual, but I still think there's a difference between friendly banter and actively helping someone cheat. Now things are weird between us, and I'm starting to wonder if I made the wrong call. Should I have just helped my friend out, or was I right to stay neutral? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.